Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Caramel Sportscast. I'm your host, Steven Avalos, alongside my dad.
Hello.
And just like last week, Marissa won't be with us. You know, she's been really busy with everything, but we hope everything is doing well.
Yeah, I hope everything is doing well. I know she's into the softball. I just hope she's not avoiding us. You think she's avoiding us?
No.
Okay. Hey, Marissa.
But anyways, in a way, she is still with us because she actually helped give me a lot of advice when it came to covering some of the teams here. So, she's still contributing even though she's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It proves that
she's always in spirit.
And that she's reliable.
Yeah.
But anyways, we are going to start off talking about the A's. You know, opening day is tomorrow. Hopefully I can get this out as soon as possible. I always have a little bit of complications with that. But anyways, yep, I really look forward to baseball now. You know, it's been harder to get into sports lately. You know, still dealing with the pandemic, and I got school. You know, my second semester is always tougher than the first. So it's a little harder to concentrate on sports every now and then. But I'm really excited now. We're going to be trying to go, or do we have tickets already?
I'm not sure. We're trying to get tickets, I think, for the weekend game.
Yeah. Anyways, we do look forward to it. And going over their roster projection, because it's not exactly finalized. You know, there's still some little complications with it. You know, deciding between Puck and Jeffries for the fifth spot. Of course, then again, Fires, he's going to be starting on the IL, so he could take that back when he's healthy. But anyways, the projected lineup, and this is from Fangraphs right here. This is where I got it from. It would be Mark Hanna at left field, Ramon Laureano at center, Matt Chapman at third, Matt Olson at first, Sean Murphy at catcher, Mitch Moreland at designated hitter, Jed Lowry at second base, Steven Piscotty at right field, Elvis Andrus at shortstop, Aramis Garcia at catcher, Tony Kemp at second base, and he could also play outfield as well, Chad Pinder as the utility man, and Kai Tom, I really hope I pronounced that right. It's not easy to pronounce, but he'll be at outfield. He was one of the biggest surprises to make it. You know, Rule 5 draft pick, played really well, batted over 500 during the not 500, 300 during the spring. But anyways, I really liked him. You mentioned some stuff about him too as well, thinking that he had a good chance at making it, which you
he was ripping the ball all of spring training. Now, out of the lineup that you saw, is there any changes you would make?
I really like it the way it is, honestly. You know, I think Canna is a good guy that can lead off. Usually it's Laureano or Semien. Semien was a leadoff man for the last few years, so it's interesting to put Canna there. If Canna doesn't work out, then I just have Laureano start there.
What about Jed Lowry starting leading off?
I think he's really good as like a cleanup kind of guy, you know, to have later. Because he's really reliable. He makes
a lot of contact. Yeah.
So you want someone like that to be in the lower part of the lineup. So I really like that. And Andrus, I think it's good to have him last because like his hitting can be a little wishy-washy, I think. But overall, I think if he does well, then that just makes it a great lineup all around.
Solid, very solid lineup.
Yeah, and even for the bench too, I Garcia, that was a guy I really liked. And he was part of the Chris Davis trade. If he can do well, that just makes the trade look even better. Tony Kemp, I liked him. You know, he's not going to be a big difference maker, but he's good enough.
Yeah, definitely not a power hitter, but somebody who can get on base.
Yeah, and Pinder has grown a lot ever since I think he came in 2015.
Yeah,
he's grown a lot since then.
It was tough to lose Grossman, but you know we still have Pinder. Pinder's a very good utility player.
Yeah, and Tom, he's a fresh face that can bring excitement. You know, something that like can be a little unpredictable, new.
Yeah.
You can never argue against something new. Starting pitcher, we got Chris Bassett, Jesus Luzardo, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, and then for the Fangraph projection, they had Dalton Jeffries.
Solid. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any team that wouldn't want that rotation.
I don't know if I could call any of them like a true ace, like at least compared to like how other MLB rosters are. Even like with ones that have like a worse rotation than us overall, they tend to have like one guy that's extremely reliable. You know how the A's had Sonny Gray.
Yeah, with the A's,
they were struggling.
With the A's, I think they have a lot of possible aces, but no clear choice.
Yeah, I think Luzardo is someone that I think has like the highest upside, mainly because he's so young.
Yeah, he's an incredible player.
Yeah, and of course someone else that could make that fifth spot, if Jeffries and Fires aren't able to live up to expectations, is AJ Puck. Although some debate that maybe he should be a long reliever instead.
I just want him healthy. I want him in there. I don't care if, he's played how much the last 3 years?
He's barely played, really.
Yeah, so he still has to prove himself.
Availability is the best ability.
Yeah.
But I like this thing all around. Still with Montas, he's dealing with some stuff with his finger. He ripped something in there, so hopefully he's doing okay. But yeah, Bassett, Luzardo are guys I feel really good about. Montas, when hopefully his finger's better. Minaya, I'm a little bit concerned about just because I feel like he had some iffy starts in spring. Of course, it's still preseason. Doesn't matter a lot. But, you still feel a little concerned if someone that you have high expectations for doesn't do well in something that doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if that was the case, the Dodgers are in trouble because Kershaw did not have a good spring.
Yeah. When the A's played against him, man, they made him look awful.
Yeah.
Then for the bullpen, we got our projected closer, Trevor Rosenthal. Diekman will probably be like the guy for the setup man for the 8th inning. Then it seems like Romo and Trevino, I think, could share the 7th inning either way.
Yeah.
Depends on how they do as the season goes on. Then for the middle guys, you got Wendelken, Petit, and Kolarek.
And if Wendelken can pitch like he did last year, we're going to be really, really good in bullpen.
Yeah. And then Bert Smith at long reliever. I really liked him last year until he had the injury. Of course, that was pretty much his season when he got injured against the Giants. But he got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Not hurt a lot, but I mean, like, in spring.
Enough.
Yeah. But in spring, though, he was really iffy. And again, it's spring training. Don't, buy into everything you see in the spring. But still, there's still a little bit of reason to be concerned about him.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a projection going on for them being, I believe, 83 wins, which A's players like Chapman and Canna said, like, and Diekman as well, says, like, that's a little bit of an understatement right there. We believe that we can win 100. I believe I said something around the high 90s in our family podcast.
Yeah, mine was in the high 90s as well.
Yeah, if they could reach 100, that'd be excellent.
Oh, yeah. 100 for any team would be excellent. You kidding me? Yeah.
First time in a while, too. But anyways, we're going to move on to the Giants, or is there anything else you want to say about the A's?
Oh, we're good.
Okay, so on to the Giants, which Mercer gave a lot of help in the last moment. Mercer really came in the clutch. Thank you again. But anyways, their projection, this was from MLB.com. Brandon Belt at first, Buster Posey at catcher, another guy for backup catcher, Kurt Casserly, I hope I pronounced that right. Donovan Solano at second, Evan Longoria at third, Brandon Crawford at short. Then for the outfielders, Mike Yastrzemski, Alex Dickerson, Mauricio Dubon, Austin Slater, and Darren Ruff. Then the utility guys would be Wilmer Flores and Tommy LaStella. Starting pitchers, Kevin Gausman, Johnny Cueto, Logan Webb, Anthony Desclafani, Aaron Sanchez, and then for the bullpen, Jake McGee, Matt Whistler, Jarlin Garcia, Jose Alvarez, Tyler Rogers, Reyes Moranta, Wandy Peralta, Caleb Bargar. Yeah, I hope I pronounced that.
Yeah,
right.
we're going to be getting during this podcast. I think we're going to be getting a lot of names wrong.
Yeah.
We haven't heard a lot of them, so just be patient with us, and we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, but anyways, I checked in with Marissa asking what her thoughts are with everything going on, and I for me personally, I don't know much about the Giants compared to Marissa, but I would think that they'd be in the middle of the pack in the NL West, because you got the superpowers like the Dodgers and Padres. Those guys they're out for blood, and then you got the Rockies and Diamondbacks, where they're just not good.
Yeah, I don't see anybody. In fact, I think the Padres are going to win the division, but that's for later with the podcast.
Yeah. Anyways, though, I asked Marissa what she thought, and she expects them to be 79 and 83. And then they'll be in third in the NL West, so, just the same as I was thinking there. The wins-wise, I'm not sure. Maybe they could hit just a touch over 500. I don't know. Having the Dodgers and Padres in your division certainly won't help that.
That's a lot of losses.
But Colorado and Arizona will help that.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, she expects their best players to be Yastrzemski and Solano, which I totally agree with. Solano for the last 2 years has been well over 300. That's amazing. Yastrzemski is just a really consistent player. He's doing really well, and he's a guy that you always got to look out for if you're pitching against him. And Belt, he was someone that she chose to be kind of on the downside. His availability has always been iffy in the last few years.
So you're saying Belt won't be able to hold up the Giant offense?
Yeah, I guess so.
The
pants
Belt.
that is the Giants offense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with her very much on that one. He seems to be very unreliable lately. Like every now and then he might have some good moments, but he's just not consistent anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how it's just been with the Giants. You got Crawford and Posey there still. A bunch of older guys from that small little dynasty they had.
Yeah, it seems strange too to call Crawford an older player.
Yeah, or Bell too.
Yeah,
it just seems like not too long ago.
They pretty much came up at the same time, right?
Yeah, I think so. All of them and Posey too.
And old man Posey. God, trying to age myself here.
Yeah. But anyways, one thing that she found to be the most complicated is their bullpen. Last year their bullpen blew plenty of leads. That was due to some of the decisions by their manager, Gabe Kapler. If you guys haven't already heard, she does not like him. We're a bit iffy on the guy. He definitely seems like he's trying, but he tries too hard, I think. Like, he overthinks certain things. And
I think he's an incredible Giant manager.
Because they lead to losses. And, it's just that thing with baseball, which is, and you got the whole situation with analytics. People are going to keep arguing about that all day, whether it's right for, managers or general managers to use that when playing. And I think I've expressed my opinion before on analytics is that it should be used when it comes to, roster decisions. But when it comes to, a game time decision, that's when you got to just, go with what you're already seeing than, what you've seen on paper, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And, like I said, Gabe Kapler, he's got to improve on the bullpen this year. And it doesn't seem like they really have anyone set a closer. Like, for what Marissa said, it seems the closest would be Reyes Moranta. Not sure about him, but, just seeing about how she, is really unsure about it could be really troublesome for the Giants. Because if you can't close out games, you're going to be losing a lot of shoulda wins or coulda.
Oh, yeah, a lot of shouldas.
Yeah. But in terms of the starting rotation, she really does think that Gausman will be great, a Cy Young candidate. And since she thinks that the Giants won't be doing too well, under 500, she can see Johnny Cueto being traded by the deadline.
Yeah, that's too bad because that's one of the few Giants I really like a lot.
Same here. I like that little thing he does when he gets ready to pitch, where he does a little shimmy and then lets it go. And, of course, you guys know she is a big Buster Posey fan, so you clearly know that she's going to have high hopes for him. But he's at 34 now, especially at a catcher position. That's really taxing on the body.
I think his catcher, he can't catch much more. He should be at first base. Him and Belt should be switching back and forth.
But anything else about the Giants? I think we pretty much agreed that they'll be in the middle of the pack in the NL West. They're going to have a lot of frustrating moments, but, with guys like Yastrzemski and Solano and Gausman, they'll be able to, provide some entertainment. And plus, they're veterans as well, just being able to see them.
Yeah, the best thing going for them is the opening month. They played a bunch of not very good teams. They play Miami a lot, Cincinnati a lot. The only tough thing about the first month is second series, they play San Diego. Other than that, they're playing nobody. I think most of the teams in the first month will be below 500 teams. So if they get out to a good start, you never know.
Yeah, but they could also just set up fans for disappointment later on.
Yeah.
It is true, though. But Marissa actually did make one more prediction saying that they will take 2 out of 3 from Seattle in their first series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now moving on to the rest of the National League, brought to you by my dad. He did a lot of the work here, so, a virtual round of applause to him.
Yeah, because normally I really don't do a lot of research. I leave it up to Steven. But here we go. And to tell you the truth, I wrote down a lot of this stuff, so I will be reading most of the stuff because my brain isn't big enough to absorb all the information that I definitely went through. Anyway, we got in the National League West, we have the Dodgers, who last season were 43-17, 7 straight division titles, and World Series champions.
Yep.
Defeating the Tampa Bay Rays. Dave Roberts is their manager in his 6th season. They lost some key players in Kike Hernandez, Jock Peterson, Pedro Baez. And they acquired Trevor Bauer, which is big. They just added to their incredible pitching staff as it was. I would project them to come in second.
Come in second? Oh, yeah, because you got the Padres going first in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's definitely from how you're saying it here. It definitely seems like their lineup is like not a lot weaker, but just a fraction of it, a bit weaker. Because Enrique Hernandez and Jock Peterson were definitely good players.
Yeah.
On that team, but they still got Bellinger, Seager, Turner, like a lot of great guys there. But it definitely will get a little bit slower, but then they're pitching. You don't have to worry too much about scoring if you don't let the other team score.
Yeah. The Padres are next at 30. Last year they were 37-23. They ended a 13-year playoff drought. Right on, and they will be going places for the next decade or so.
Oh yeah.
Jace Tingler is their manager in his second season. They lost Mike Clevenger to Tommy John. They really didn't lose, and they have him, but he has been lost for the season because of Tommy John. They acquired Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrave, Blake Snell, and Ha Seong Kim for a second baseman. And they signed, of course, Fernando Tatis to a 14-year, $340 million contract. No chump change there.
Yep, and you gotta expect a big tip if you're like serving them at a restaurant. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, incredible lineup, incredible pitching. I don't see them being stopped by anyone. The only thing that's going to stop them is injuries, and that, unfortunately, that is the Achilles heel for most teams. Is how healthy they remain during the season. We have Colorado Rockies next. Last year they were 26-34, came in fourth place. Bud Black is in his fifth season as manager. They got rid of, and I mean got rid of, not just lost.
Okay, just a quick cut in here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Uber Eats commercial with the guys from Wayne's World where one of them is constantly dubbing in the names of restaurants, but I'm going to have to do a little dub right here and say Nolan Arenado is who the Rockies got rid of because my dad can't pronounce Arenado.
Yeah, we did 5 takes, and I gave him the paper and said, just read it.
Yeah, just Arenado.
Yeah,
I don't know.
All the above.
Yeah, but keep going.
Anyway, he forced himself out, demanding a trade. He went to the Cardinals for Austin Gomber.
Yeah, not a good trade.
No.
And it's just going to prove that the Rockies are going to be an awful team. They're just disgusting.
Yeah, Ian Desmond, the center fielder, opted out for the second straight year. Their starting pitch is going to be Germain Marquez, Antonio Sanzentella, John Gray, Kyle Freeman, and Austin Gomber.
You always find a bunch of interesting names in baseball.
Yeah, but they're going to be they'll be okay, I guess. Next up is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They were 25-35 last year with Torey Lovell in his fifth season. Didn't do much despite a disappointing year. Not many additions at all, but they to do anything in this division, they need Eduardo Escobar, Ketel Marte, Carson Kelly, Madison Bumgarner, and Luke Weaver to have bounce-back years. Otherwise, they'll be looking up from the bottom of the division.
I say they get fourth. But, like, you read some of those names, and it's like, that doesn't sound bad at all, but they just disappoint.
Yeah. They added a utility player, a very good utility player, with, what's another game? Cabrera.
Asdrubal Cabrera, yeah.
Asdrubal Cabrera. A decent bullpen with Joaquin Soria and Chris Davinsky. Very, very young team.
Yeah, well, some guys that are too old, too. You have Bumgarner and Cabrera and Soria there.
Going to the National League Central, we got the Chicago Cubs, who were 34-26. David Ross is in his second season. They lost Yu Darvish, gained Zach Davies. This is pretty much a must-win season for the Cubs because They have a lot of older players.
Especially ones that are going to be on their way out, like Rizzo and Bryant.
Yeah, and Javier Baez as well. All those players need bounce back years.
I think Baez is probably going to stay, just because I think he's younger than all of those guys. But I don't have high hopes for them. They have a lot of issues going on right now financially.
The thing on the plus side with them is they're in a weak division.
Yeah.
St. Louis is next at 30-28 last year. Mike Schultz is in his third season. They gained Nolan
Arenado
from Colorado.
Yeah.
Major losses is Dakota Hudson to Tommy John surgery. They have a decent rotation with Yadier Molina as their catcher. And I just found out that Adam Wainwright and Molina are the top bullpen catcher-pitcher combination in the history of baseball. I didn't know Wainwright had been with them his entire year, I'm pretty sure. Young outfield, playoff bound. That's all I can say about that. Decent team. Cincinnati Reds are next. Last year they were 31-29. David Bell is in his third season as manager. They lost Trevor Bauer, Razel Ingles, and Freddie Galvis, shortstop, and the other two were right-handed pitchers. Last year they had a team batting average of 212, which is not very good. They got a decent lineup, but they just all had a lot of them had an off year. Joey Votto had an off year. Evangelino Sarais had an off year. Nick Castellanos and Mike Moustakas all had bad years last year. And they need, if they're going to do anything in the division, they've got to play better. Next is the Milwaukee Brewers. They were 29-31. Craig Counsell is in his seventh season. Then once again, so many of these teams need bounce back years from key players.
Yelich especially.
Yelich, Christian Higuera. Anyway, Abizail Garcia and Omar Narvaez all need bounce back years. They got to play better. Solid outfield with Lorenzo Cain and Jackie Bradley Jr. along with Colton Wong should balance the lineup and help out the pitching staff. Yeah, they have Brandon Woodruff, right-handed pitcher, and Corbin Burns. Definitely solid 1-2 punch for the rotation. With the top closer, Devin Williams and Josh Hader lead a pretty balanced bullpen. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates, 1941 last year. Derek Shelton, second season, may not make it to a third season. Jameson Tailing is gone, along with Josh Bell. Definitely a rebuild year. And they've got a ton of prospects, but prospects doesn't get you wins. They're going to be nothing but a spoiler team. Next, we have... Oh, you have something to say?
The Pirates, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I remember I used to... I kind of like the Pirates. They were one of my favorite teams besides the A's for a while, when they had Andrew McCutchen. But just like in the past few years, I've lost so much respect for them because their management has just become awful. It's toxic. You got that one player who got arrested for having child pornography on his computer, and then all the fights they would get into. I'm not saying that was worse than the child thing.
Whatever happened to Andrew McCutchen?
Actually, that's a good. I think the Phillies still.
Okay.
But anyways, it just I despise the Pirates so much now just because of the way a lot of them are.
Yeah, they're going to go nowhere for years to come.
I just remember they were involved in so many brawls. Although I know Marissa would like that. She loves brawls in baseball. Yeah. Surprised she doesn't watch more hockey.
Yeah. Anyway, we got in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves. They won the division last year at 35-25. Brian Snickner is in his sixth season. 3 straight division titles.
They were so close to making it to the World Series.
Yeah, one game. One game within the World Series.
It was a 3-1 lead.
They gained Charlie Morton, Drew Smiley, Mike Soroka. He's not fully recovered from an injury he had earlier this year. They have a great lineup. Freddie Freeman, MVP. with Marcell Ozuna as well. Great 1-2 punch in the lineup.
I still think they could be a pretty good team overall. I think they definitely have a good shot at the division as they did before. Pretty much all I have to say about them.
Yeah, they're going to win the division again. We have next the Miami Marlins at 31-29 last year. Don Mattingly in his 6th season. First playoff appearance in 17 years. Yeah, go Marlins. Thing is, they don't have any proven players at all. They have 8 pitchers that are 26 and younger, which could be something. They have Sixto Sanchez and Edward Cabrera for a couple of their pitchers. But like I said, they're all young, and they're totally depending on a lot of unproven players. Anything to say about Marlins?
I really liked what they did last year. They were a pretty good surprise team, and I also look forward to their GM. First female GM in I think all sports so far. I don't really know, but I wish her the best.
Yeah, way to go win.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but anyway, we got Philadelphia Phillies next. Last year they were 28-32. Joe Girardi is in his 2nd season. Haven't had a winning season since 2011. They got a decent offense. They ranked 5th in the National League last year. Pretty much everybody's returning to the starting lineup. Great 1-2 pitchers with Aaron Nolan and Zach Wheeler with a solid 3rd starter in Zach Elfin. Bullpen needs to improve, though, if they're going to do anything, because it was over 7 last year. But with the addition of Archer Bradley, Braden Kinzer, and Jose Alvarado, they did improve their bullpen. We'll just see how it goes this year. Okay, we got the Mets. Last year, 26-34 with Luis Rojas in his 2nd season of manager. A whopping 18 new players to the 40-man roster. I don't know how many of them will make the opening season roster, but they gained Francisco Lindor, James McCann, and Carlos Carrasco. They have to work on their timely hitting because they rank 2nd in on-base percentage and 3rd in OPS, yet they finished 13th in runs. That is what you call no clutch hitting. And they got a very shaky defense to boot. Jake DeGrom, Marcus Stroman anchor the starting pitching. And they have Noah Syndergaard. Hopefully he'll come back from his Tommy John surgery. It could be a good team if they stay healthy.
Yeah. And did that cover everything for the National League?
And I got the Washington Nationals. As much as everybody wants to forget about them, like we did, just about almost.
I'm still grateful for them to beating the Astros a couple years ago. Very grateful for that.
Very grateful. They will always be number 1 in our hearts or something. The Nationals were 26-34 last year with Dave Martinez returning for his 4th season. They gained Juan Soto and Josh Bell, Kyle Schwarber, and John Lester to the team this year. Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and John Lester will be a very strong 1-2-3 pitching staff, with Brad Hand holding down the bullpen.
All right. So that covers everything for the National League. It's been really fun covering every major league team. Now on to not really much to say with football, honestly. Draft is coming up. Really, I think just the priority when it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders is, they're going to have to get someone for the offensive line because, they've lost a lot of guys for that traded them. And then safety. They need, I think for free agency, they need someone older in the defensive back room because the draft is really deep this year in terms of safety and offensive line, especially offensive tackle, which is what they should go for, mainly right tackle. I still think they should get a veteran there at the defensive back room because, there's just so many young guys there. And even though I do like the coaching staff, the changes they made to it, you got a lot of guys with strong pedigrees for being able to develop defenses. I still just want another veteran there that can actually, do something on the field and help command them.
Yeah.
But, I do like what's been going on so far. It's still hard to have expectations long, but, you just got to have some hope. And one thing, and I don't want to shed too much light on this, but there was this post that Carr made where some people took it as cryptic at first, but it was basically saying something like, they say you went here when you were 40, and this was your favorite chair, so I decided to go here when I was 30. I'm just paraphrasing what his post was, and it was him and Cabo on those like vacation lounge chairs.
Yeah.
And basically the context is that it was probably a place that Kobe loved to go to because he really looks up to Kobe. That's why he had the sleeve on all of last season to dedicate to Kobe Bryant. And
I didn't realize you were such a Kobe Bryant fan.
Oh yeah, that's like his favorite athlete of all time. And so he did call it sleeve season.
Did my name ever come up?
No, sorry.
Okay.
But people called it sleeve season. Some people use it to mock him. Some use it to like him. You're gonna have people like that. And some people took it as something that was cryptic, and I was like, oh, what does it mean? It's like, and the main thing I just think about it, mainly when it comes to how people responded to the post, it's just like, this is why I don't like Twitter. And I've been trying to just stay away from it for a longer time, especially with everything going on in our lives. It's kind of harder to be on social media, but it also just like it honestly, a lot of social media is really messed up with how I perceive sports. Like, it takes so much of the fun out of it. An athlete could just post one normal thing, and like someone's like, oh, but it's not like you don't do that on the field. It's like, just let them be. Like, I get it. Like, there's that whole thing with athletes and celebrities. Like, when they try to relate to people too much, and it's like, well, hey, you got millions of dollars. Don't like act like you're struggling with anything. But it's like, they're still human beings as well. Just like, you don't have to hound every little thing they say or try to read into every single thing. It's just
or bend what they say.
Yeah. And
that's the worst.
Yeah, because with athletes, like, there may be an athlete on a bad team says something like, oh, I love doing this. Well, I guess you don't love winning, too. It's like just...
How did you get that out of what he said?
Yeah, well, they're just doing things just to say things. Yeah. And you can tell, like, I don't know. It's so stupid, honestly. And, like, I just want to delete many things from my life.
Anyway, let's finish up with
basketball.
So
the Warriors, they finally got Curry back after about a week and a half.
I think they were 1-6 without him. First 4-game losing streak of the season.
Yeah, it was a really tough spot. Their drive just wasn't the same. When you have a player like Curry, once in a generation player, yeah, that's gonna happen to you.
Not to make excuses for the Warriors, but they did when they lost. 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row. Actually, they did play 3 out of 4 days, and that's tough, especially when they were short the amount of players that they were.
Yeah, and they also recently traded Marquise Chris and Brad Wanamaker. Wanamaker, I was okay with because I really think that
you never liked him.
A lot of people did not, and it's just like he felt like too much of a liability, because he just didn't have any offense. His defense was okay, but it's not like the other players on defense weren't that bad. The big issue for our bench was offense, scoring.
Yeah.
And, if he can't help with that, then sorry.
What good is he if he can't help?
Yeah. We need more scorers on the bench, and he wasn't providing that. And then for Marquise Chris, that was one that I actually didn't like because I did like him.
I didn't think they gave him a good enough chance. This was only his second year, and he didn't play it all because of injuries. So I think it was a mistake to give up on him so early.
Yeah, especially because, they still struggle with rebounds, and I feel like he was definitely better at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, one thing I did think about, too, when it comes to rebounds is I feel like no matter who we have as, like, a big man, I feel like we've still been struggling a lot with that. And just wonders, like, is it how they're being taught to rebound in our system or, like, the way they're taught to play that's causing these struggles with rebounds and such? Or is it really that the players just aren't good enough and they need to work on it more? Or is it both?
Well, the key thing in definitely rebounding is positioning, and you just don't see it. The players they're going up against are just better. The Warriors have a young team for the most part, inexperienced, and getting that rebounding positioning will come with age.
Yeah, it has to come with age. But anyways, there's something else you got written down?
I just said there's been a lot of big injuries lately of note. Joel Embiid has been out. Kevin Durant out. LeBron James been out. Davis from what's his name?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis has been out, and that's just touching the tip of the iceberg there. And
then Curry for a bit too before last week.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's just a little side note.
Yeah. It just things haven't been going too well. I feel like the NBA has been a little quiet, but. And at least some good basketball news. The NCAA tournament has been going on. We weren't able to talk about that last week, but it's been mostly entertaining.
UCLA is in the top 4.
Yeah, that was a very surprising thing. They're losing to they beat Michigan.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then Loyola College, they had another good run as they did a few years ago. They beat they won
Chicago,
2 games. Yeah. And then you got Oral Roberts almost beating Arkansas. Was it Arkansas? Yeah, they only lost by 2 points.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga's going to take it all for the first undefeated season in, 30 years? 40 years? Something like that.
Long time.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, but for me, honestly, I've never been able to get into the college sports as much as I do professional. I don't know.
Except for the Bears.
Yeah, except for our local teams and such. And I think it's a mixture of things because, well, one, it's like you can't compare pro sports to college. It's really professionals and amateurs.
Yeah.
In the difference, and I think it's also a bit like an overexposure. There's so many games to where you kind of get numb to it.
Well, it was such a weird season this year in college basketball because you had some teams playing. Some teams had records of say 21-3 against teams that were 6-9 or whatever. Not record wise, but the amount of games that they played. There was such a discrepancy.
Football too. They had that discrepancy as well. But and then you also got the whole thing with the Pac-12. They're just not as competitive as other conferences.
Yeah,
so
we're
that
in
doesn't
the top
help
4.
either.
We got one of the top 4 teams.
Yeah, so you definitely got to be happy about that.
UCLA.
Even though we're not UCLA fans.
Yeah, I just happen to know the chant.
Anyway,
we one last story, and that'll be opening day tomorrow.
Yeah.
How you feel about that? Going to games again?
Mentioned that in the very beginning, but it's been over a year since any of us have been to a sporting event. So
I'm gonna be so excited.
Yeah. This weekend, you said? Not opening day, but this weekend will be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure opening day is pretty much sold out. There's so limited amount of tickets that it would be hard to get tickets to the opening game unless you want to spend $200.
Oh no!
But the way they're doing it is you don't stand in line for food or anything. They bring the food to you, so you don't have to worry about getting close to anybody in line. Seats are very well separated. You just have to pay a good price for the tickets.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me is you just wonder how that'll be service wise when it comes to getting your food, because I can see that taking a while. Because even when you're in line, sometimes it might take a little while.
Yeah, I think everything's going to be done on your phone, or I can't imagine them coming by to every seat. Yeah. You're probably going to have an app where you can order and stuff like that.
Yeah, hopefully it all goes well. I can't wait to go. It's just going to feel a bit surreal at first, being there for the first time in a long time.
I think the best thing about it is that the players will be able to hear everybody that says something. They will know when I say, "You bum, sit down, you bum."
Yeah, and that's usually the opposing team.
Yeah,
yeah, we rarely say stuff like that to our own guys.
Rarely.
Well, I know I rarely do.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been nice chatting this week.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and hopefully Marissa can be back. We still don't know when exactly she will be available again, but all the best of her. Thanks to her for helping us out. Yeah. Still, even though she's not here.
And the best of luck on her softball season.
Yep. All right, everyone. Good night.
Good night.